warmly welcome you to today's edition of Editorials, a broadcast from Canada. My name is Sandra Asante. Today we are drawing deep concern on two main things. First, we'll be looking at death and destruction after heavy rains fall in Ethiopia, as well as the forcefully disappearing of ethnic Tigrayans in Ethiopia. So don't go anywhere, I'll be back after the break. You are welcome back from the break. Thank you so much for staying with me. We will start off with the heavy rain killing people in Ethiopia, and at least 7 people have died after heavy rains in Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. Rivers burst their banks into the capital, causing flooding. The city mayor, Anadet Abebi, tweeted that the damage to life and property was severe in several areas in the city. Dozens of people were injured and were being treated in different hospitals, according to local media. The mayor expressed her grief for flood victims and said that the city has learned the need to do more to minimize impact of heavy rain during rainy season. Away from the rainy season, we move on to the ethnic Tigrayans forcibly disappeared in Ethiopia. So Ethiopian authorities since last June 2021 have arbitrarily detained, forcibly disappeared and committed other abuses against ethnic Tigrayan in Ethiopia's capital, Addis Ababa. The authorities should immediately account for Tigrayans forcibly disappeared, release those being held without credible evidence of a crime, and/or discriminatory treatment. On June 28th, following 8 months of fighting in Ethiopia's northern Tigray region, Tigrayan forces recaptured the regional capital, Mekelle, while government moved quickly into the neighboring Afar and Amara regions, triggering large-scale displacement. Since then, serious human rights violation by government security forces against ethnic Tigrayans in Addis Ababa have escalated. Ethiopian security forces in recent weeks have carried out rampant arbitrarily arrests and forced disappearances of Tigrayans in Addis Ababa. This was stated by Latitia Barda, Horn of African Director of Human Rights Watch. The government should immediately stop its ethnic profiling, which has cast unjustified suspicions on Tigrayans, producing information on everyone being held and providing redress of victims. In July and August, Human Rights Watch interviewed by phone 8 current and 4 Tigrayan detainees, witnesses to abuses, and lawyers. Human Rights Watch also reviewed court and police documents and relevant photos as well. On August 11th, the email to Attorney General Gideon Thomita was summarizing the Human Rights Watch findings and requesting further information has not received response. This research supplement interview in November and December 2020 with 9 people subjected to profiling, searches and arbitrarily arrest of Tigrayans in Addis Ababa after the conflict in Tigray began in November. In mid-July, the Addis Ababa Police Commissioner Getu Agau told the media that over 300 Tigrayans have been arrested, saying they were under investigation for their alleged support for the Tigray former ruling party, Tigray People's Liberation Front, the TPLF, which Ethiopia's parliament designated and claimed to be a terrorist group in May. Although the Attorney General told the media that ordinary citizens would not be affected in the arrest, that Human Rights Watch research most, if not all, appear to have been targeted on the basis of ethnicity. Witnesses said that security forces stopped and arrested Tigrayans on the street and in cafes, and as well as other public places and in their homes and workplace, often during warrantless searches. In many cases, security forces check people's identification cards to confirm their identity before taking them to a police station or other detention facility. A Tigrayan political activist and Tigrayan aid worker, both based in Addis Ababa, were among those arrested in July, as were at least a dozen journalists and media workers who have reported on abuses against Tigrayans. While family members often knew where their relatives were being held during the first few days of the detention, many were then secretly transferred to unidentified locations. Lawyers and families discovered often weeks later and sometimes only informally that some detainees were being held in the Afar region, over 200 kilometers from Addis Ababa. The whereabouts of others, including 23 cases Human Rights Watch documented, remain unknown. The media and witnesses have reported that since 28th of June, authorities have closed dozens of businesses in Addis Ababa belonging to Tigrayans, particularly in the Haya, Hulit, and several neighborhoods in Bole district. Security forces have also intimidated and threatened people, including detainees and their relatives. Many of the police officers who were in the compound of the detention centers were insulting me, said a woman detained in July. They were using abusive words that are directly attached with identity. They said I was venomous snake. That's quite sad. But Ethiopia's government abuses against Tigrayans in Addis Ababa started after the Tigray conflict began in November. In November and December, the authorities arbitrarily arrested and dismissed from work Tigrayans working in the government security and civil service. Profile Tigrayans during systematic ID checks and search homes without warrant. In many cases, repeatedly, these actions have restricted Tigrayans' freedom of movement throughout the duration of the conflict. On Wednesday, 30th of June, he was stopped in a prison north central Addis Ababa, and they said to him, "We know that you were just in Tigray." He said no, he had been in Addis Ababa the whole time. They kicked him in the chin. He gave them his ID and insisted on calling the police officer, who ordered the officials to let him go. He stayed at home for the next 2 days. Then on Friday, July 2nd, he left the house and was arrested around midday around Tekli High, Manot, north central Addis Ababa. He called our other sister and said, "They put us in the car with a lot of Tigrayans. I am not sure where they are taking us." And then the call was cut. This is Hub Tom, a 22-year-old tailor, was almost likely arrested on June along with 30 Tigrayans. So Tabon's sister Stega visited him during his first week in detention, first at the station and then at the temporary detention facility near Kaliti sub-city. She saw him again during a court appearance in Adisu Gabeya, where prosecutors told the court at Haptom and what Stega estimated to be dozens of other Tigrayans were accused of being terrorists. Haptom disappeared 3 days before his next scheduled court appearance. On Tuesday morning, when I brought him some food, they told me that he had been arrested, she said, but my brother hasn't come home. Thank you so much for watching today's editorials. My name is Sandra Asante. Do enjoy the rest of your day.